it. So there we go. All right, cool. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the projections, which is essentially our lightning talks of amazing video presentations that have already been submitted. And we will go through that. If it's your first time ever doing projections with us, don't worry, we'll give you kind of a sense of what it's going to look like. And then at the end, there will be sort of a wrap up and some important information about if you want to stay involved with ACTAL, where you can find materials afterwards. I'm holding all of that as a carrot to the end. But basically, the way that projections works is all the videos are going to play in quick succession. You can ask questions in the chat, and that's usually where the main engagement happens. And then the presenter sort of responds in the chats as things are going. So there's usually like a lot of conversations happening. There's a little bit of time at the end if there's any sort of follow-up or questions that didn't get answered, but largely the talk back organically has taken place in the chat in the past. So we're just going to try and set it up that way on purpose. But who knows, sometimes when we try to do things on purpose, it ruins it. So, but we're going to see if that works. So feel free to blow up the chat as it's kind of going. I have tested all these videos, but who knows what happens when it goes live. So the very first one we've got is Design Thinking, Intellectual Property Library Sessions in a Business First Year Experience course by Rebecca Glasgow from the University of Nevada. So here we go.
My name is Rebecca Glasgow, and I work for the University of Nevada, Reno University Libraries. Today, I will be talking about a collaboration between myself, the engineer librarian, and our business librarian. We co-designed 2 design thinking and intellectual property sessions to implement into a Business 101 course. The design thinking session was taught by me and held within our library makerspace. This session was 75 minutes long, teaching business freshmen about the design thinking process and connecting it to entrepreneurship. I adapted the Stanford D-School Wallet project and created a digital worksheet using the Jamboard application. The worksheet guides them through the 5 stages of design thinking. Students worked in groups of 2 to interview each other and design their partners, or clients' ideal wallet. By the end of my session, they fabricated a rapid prototype of this wallet using crafting materials like paper and popsicle sticks. Here is an example of one page from the design thinking worksheet where they explored the ideate stage. They brainstormed and drew a few ideas for their wallet designs. They then gathered feedback from their client. They made very creative versions of wallets based on their clients' needs. The business librarian did a second session held within the course classroom. This session was 75 minutes long, teaching students about patents and trademarks. He developed his own worksheets and activities and used the Jamboard application so students had digital access with their iPads. There were 3 separate worksheets, with students working in small groups to complete one of them. There was a short presentation on the concepts and group discussion reflecting on the worksheets at the end of the session. Here's an example of one of the worksheet pages where they explored the patents by identifying components in the patent diagram. Our collaboration paired very well together. They met with their librarians, learned about campus resources, which is vital for the success of first-year students. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions about these 2 activities. My name is...
So our next one is Escape Room in UNM's Adobe Creative Commons by Dana Diamond from the University of New Mexico.
My space is the Adobe Creative Commons at the University of New Mexico. In 2023, I decided to do a digital media-related escape room during the first week of the semester. Goals included welcoming student patrons into the space and driving a perception of fun and interactivity, and giving some beginner digital literacy skills. The game was spy-themed and utilized most major areas of the space. Players searched for a missing agent who left a series of clues. There was audio for them to edit, hidden messages in the digital signage, a decoder ring, and password-protected PDFs. On my side, challenges included UNM's Adobe licenses taking 24 to 48 hours to initialize, limiting me in my app choices. Also, patrons struggled to understand the boundaries of the space and often went to other parts of the library. Results: the game took over an hour, which was too long for patrons to complete between classes and meant quite a few of them didn't complete it. Advertising was insufficient. Patrons who only came for the game did not return for other ACC events or services. However, patrons did get digital literacy skills and had fun. Library student workers also reported wanting to go, but not being able to because the start of the semester is too busy at the library. My student workers also wanted more training on the game. So, for 2024, I have the following planned: an exclusive pre-semester week for the general library student workers, more robust training for my student workers, a more detailed exit interview for the players, encouragement for the players to sign up for our email newsletter, increased advertising and signage, including chalk signage, a shorter and modularized version of the game where each clue is its own internally contained game, but an additional special activity unlocks if you do all three. Contact me if you'd like to know more about the advertising, development, or activity choice.
All right. Next, we've got From Archives to Pixels, the Tiger Tales Oral Histories Digital Exhibit by Andy Ticknell from Fort Hays State University.
The Tiger Tales Oral Histories Digital Exhibit originated in 2018. We had just built the one-button studio, which we call the Media Lab, and were eager to promote it to the university community. Around this same time, Forsyth Library was also welcoming some new donors, so we invited them to record the story of their relationship with the library and the university. To enrich their narratives, we scoured our archives, especially the yearbook collection, to find images that complemented their stories. The final product was well received and brought great attention to both the Media Lab and the university archives, housed within the library's special collections. Inspired by that success, we continue to invite alumni, retired faculty and staff, and others to share their stories about Fort Hays State University and its community. While the project still fosters strong relationships with alumni and donors, we've shifted our focus away from using it primarily for donor recognition. Instead, we prioritize compelling stories and images, ensuring the content comes first. We try to span the generations with our oldest story reaching back to about 1937, but also include recent graduates. We've also done what we call special editions that highlight specific traditions like the Magical Dinner or the Sig-Up Cannon that's fired after every Tiger touchdown. Tiger Tales is more than just a promotional tool. It's a scholarly endeavor that advances my Special Collections colleague and me in our merit and promotion efforts. It also serves to preserve the rich history of our institution. Several of our interview subjects have already passed away, and it's an honor to have captured their stories. After 6 years, Tiger Tales continues to be of tremendous mutual benefit for the Media Lab, Special Collections, and Forsyth Library as a whole. Thank you for letting me share this project with you, and I hope it inspires similar initiatives at your universities.
All right, next up, we've got Help Build ACTAL's Shared Resources by Vanessa Rodriguez, who I'm pretty sure has presented like 8,000 times at the conference so far, and so I'm excited for this next one.
Hi everyone, I'm Vanessa Rodriguez, Head of Creative Studio at University of Miami Libraries and one of the co-founders of ACTAL. One of the things I've always wanted to do in ACTAL is create an online space for shared resources. How many of us had to start from scratch when writing policies for our services, writing a job description, instructional handout, an advertisement flyer, etc., etc., etc.? Currently, on the ACTAL website, we have a resources page where you can find some of the items that we have begun to pull together. So I'm here asking you to send me any of these types of materials that you would be willing to share with other ACTAL members. I'll take your Word documents, your PDFs, your JPEGs, GIFs, Adobe Creative Cloud files. I'll even take RTF. Is that a PowerPoint presentation you use to promote your services to classes? I'll take it. Is that a video tutorial on how to make a video essay? You can send me that too. Well, preferably send me a link because I'm trying to stay away from large file sizes, but you get what I'm saying. Inundate my mailbox and I will organize things like the librarian I am and expand our resources page for everyone. Thank you. Here's my email address. Pause for you to take screen capture or QR code. Thank you.
All right, so next up, we've got Bringing AI Image Generation to the Library by John Raj from University of Calgary.
Hi, I'm John Brose at the University of Calgary, and I'm here to talk about our AI image generator. So I'm in an area of the library called Lab Next, where we have a makerspace and do also other digital technology support. And one thing we like to do there is raise awareness of new tools. In 2022, we saw all these AI and generative AI tools coming out, and we focus on the image AI tools. And we thought it'd be great to provide students and staff and faculty access to AI image creation because at the time, a lot of interfaces were hard to access. So we created this basically touchscreen TV. This was done myself and with Jed Baker, our emerging tech specialist. And the idea is you walk up to this TV, you pick a few words, hit the Make Art button, and it gives you an AI image result after a minute or two. Up close to the interface, we have 520 words that you can pick from. You can mix and match them any way you want. And we just chose to go with a list of words so that we didn't get people generating anything too naughty that would get our account suspended. Uh, Once that AI image has been created, it gets displayed on these output screens with nice picture frames. And there's also a download image button, QR code, where you can get a hold of your image if you'd like to keep it. So a little bit about how that works. It's all the interface is a website, sends the phrase to a server. The server sends that off to an AI image API. We've used Midjourney and Dolly at different times for this. It returns an image to the server, which then creates the website that again, it shows kind of the most recent photo. And then after a couple of minutes, then it rotates through older images that have been created. So we've had this in Lab Next for a few months for a trial. In the main floor of our library, we get lots of students through in a day. And now it's been deployed to our AI Image Center. We had over 12,000 submissions. You can see there on the right side, lots of use. It triggered a couple of professors to ask for lecture visits. It's been a stop on tours, and it's been a really popular tool for us. So thank you very much. I can be reached at that email for questions.
All right, next up, we've got From Myth to Metropolis, an interdisciplinary approach to teaching ancient Greece in the humanities by Lauren Haverstock at Pepperdine University.
Welcome to Pepperdine University Libraries, where we're transforming the humanities sequence in our general education curriculum from a dreaded requirement into an exciting, interactive learning experience. In May 2024, we piloted an innovative session for Humanities 111, which focuses on ancient Greece. But this wasn't your typical lecture. We partnered with a humanities faculty member to bring students into the Genesis Lab, our cutting-edge makerspace. Here, students explored ancient Greece in virtual reality, following a new physician Nikos throughout the city of Athens as plague and war ravaged the city in 5th century BCE. A student of Hippocrates, Nikos finds himself wondering how best to apply his teacher's philosophies in a world that seems to be falling apart. Knowledge portals throughout the experience provide political and cultural context, linking the virtual experience to the students' coursework. Students also tried their hand at scanning 3D printed artifacts from their course, such as this bust of Sappho. This hands-on approach not only increased engagement, but also deepened students' understanding of the material. Our pilot with 8 students was a success, and now we plan to scale up. We're adapting this model for our larger fall and spring courses, which often have hundreds of students. More importantly, we're creating a blueprint for future collaborations between the Genesis Lab and Humanities faculty, paving the way for more interactive, technology-enhanced learning experiences. This project demonstrates how emerging technologies like virtual reality and 3D scanning and printing can be effectively integrated into humanities curricula, enhancing student engagement and learning outcomes. By leveraging our library's resources and expertise, we're creating a replicable model for faculty collaboration and interactive learning.
All right, next up, we've got Frame by Frame, Elevating Your Multimedia Resources at the Library by Eve Ellis at the University of Delaware.
everyone. My name is Eve, and I'll be presenting Frame by Frame, Elevating Your Multimedia Resources at the Library. For this presentation, I will discuss the evolution of the University of Delaware Library's multimedia blog and share information to support these learning outcomes. Our journey began in October 2023 with the rebranding of what we now call Multimedia Tips and Tricks. We initially created the blog as an internal training program for our student assistants to encourage them to share their knowledge with others and to build community. For clarity, we'll call this the student blog. The student blog had issues like dead links, misaligned branding, and accessibility problems, to name a few. We had to rebrand using research findings that revealed our audience's preference for concise articles and videos. Our new goal is to provide content that enhances the digital creations of UD students while highlighting our multimedia resources. And to boost our blog's credibility, all the content is created by our expert technology support staff. Multimedia Tips and Tricks is hosted on the University of Delaware Library's news page. Videos and tutorials stream from our institutional repository called UD Capture Space, which integrates well with the university's learning management system, making it easier for faculty to link this to their course modules. New content is published weekly during academic semesters on #Multimedia Mondays. As we can all expect, effective content management is crucial to the success of any blog. We use a structured workflow, managing deadlines in a shared Excel workbook. Content is created year-round, but published during regular semesters to build a backlog. We currently have 16 pieces of content scheduled to be published in the fall. Our workflow includes time for vacations and breaks, which prevents burnout and encourages ongoing content creation. Looking ahead, we plan to expand our content library and boost social media and on-campus promotions. Our vision is to become the go-to resource for all multimedia learning needs at our university. Thank you for watching and have a great day.
Next up, we've got Zines in the Makerspace, Creating, Collecting, and Community Building by Leanne Nate and Nada Alzarine at Indiana University, Bloomington.
Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Zines in the Makerspace, Creating, Collecting, and Community Building. My name is Leanne, and I'm the Creative Technologies Librarian at Indiana University.
My name is Neda, and I'm the Research and Learning Diversity Resident at Indiana University. Today, we're going to tell you about the evolution of our zine collection, which spans multiple campus libraries, in our endeavor to centralize it within the main library makerspace.
Our zine library is just getting started, but there's already a lot of zine activity on our campus and in our community. Our library has a significant collection of artist books, and our art librarian has recently started adding more zines to the collection, but access is currently limited. This collection is stored off-site, and users can only view them in our secure reading room. We also have a small library in our LGBTQ+ center on campus that has a growing collection of zines. Access is also somewhat limited here because items are not included in our public catalog. And finally, our public library has a large zine collection that is very accessible, and they also host related programs throughout the year. With all of that in mind, you may be wondering, why are we interested in doing more? We think the Makerspace is the perfect place to connect the whole zine lifecycle from creating to sharing. We'd like to create an easy path for students to not only make zines, but also submit them to the library's collections. We hope that students can start to see that libraries are not just for research. We're in the process of moving to a new makerspace where we hope to offer dedicated zine-making resources. We also plan to create a shelving location at the entrance to the makerspace that will start with existing zines from our collections and expand once we have collected zines from students.
We are now looking to the upcoming school year and will share some ideas we are workshopping and hope to implement. We are very interested in collecting materials that provide a snapshot of student life. To keep things fresh for students and to give us an opportunity to highlight specific moments in the year, we would like to create a themed zine workshop series that will be open to all levels of experience. Also, as mentioned before, our makerspace is getting some major changes, and one of our goals with this change is to create a dedicated bookbinding zine making area. The idea is that students do not have to wait for a workshop to make a zine, and they can experiment outside of workshop parameters. Finally, here at IU, we are lucky to have a large library system, and with many subject-specific libraries and archives. We plan to collaborate with these libraries to host zine workshops, to expose students to the wonderful libraries across campus and give them a reason to connect with more library spaces.
We hope you enjoyed our zine, and we're interested in hearing about what you all are doing in your spaces as well.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we've got music technology in the library, continuity and content by Michael Standard at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga.
Hello, my name is Michael Standard. I serve as studio librarian at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, and I'm entering my second year of developing and implementing a series of music technology workshops that address several topics in that area. I experienced some successes in this past year, but I learned some valuable lessons that I want to implement in this upcoming year. So I made a series of workshops. The first is recording devices. The second is music production in GarageBand. The third is synthesizers, and the fourth is amplifiers. And each of these workshops features a different part of our circulating collection. So I brought a piece of equipment to our in-person workshops. So what I learned last year is that students from a lot of different majors, art, music, science, they're all interested in recording technology for various reasons, partially because it's not always part of their class. A lot of those students do podcasts and music. The other thing that I learned is that amplifiers is kind of not enough for its own workshop. I think I need to implement adding microphones to that. And then the amplifiers workshop would benefit from a hands-on activity that I'm going to talk about. So that's building a paper speaker. So next semester, I want to use, change this to recorders and microphones, music production in GarageBand, synthesizers, and then the fourth one will be microphones and amplifiers. And then we'll do that activity where we actually make a paper speaker. So if you have any questions about this, you're welcome to email me. I'd love to talk about building these kinds of music technology workshops and what I do. And thank you so much for checking in.
All right, so we've got like about 5 or 6 minutes. So if there's any questions folks have for the presenters that they want to ask out loud, you're more than welcome to at this time. I see Lisa has a question about a paper speaker.
Sorry, all that's just me expressing amazement. Also, I do have questions. I cannot word them yet. It's fine. It's totally Googleable.
Hey, Lisa, I can answer that question about the paper speaker. Just to say that I think it's really interesting. And for us, that's kind of like it falls in our consumable cost budget. So when I did this workshop, and I kind of I figured out that it would be really helpful to do this hands-on thing. I mentioned this to our department head, and he said, "Okay, well, consumable costs are something that we need to put in the beginning of the year budget, so we can actually cover that." So, yeah, I have not bought them yet, so I'm sure I'll have more answers for you later. But that's definitely something that I think is really important for this kind of work because amplifiers get encased in things.
I want to know if Leanne and Nada can come and do a zine workshop, or if I can come to their zine workshop.
I'm curious for folks, Leanne and Nada or Michael, who do, and maybe some other folks, if not, I'm not remembering off the top of my head, anybody who does like workshop style stuff, if it's a set time, how do you get good traffic? Do you find that traffic is regular?
Anyone have good luck getting a turnout for workshops?
So something that's helped us a lot is collaboration with specific groups. So our head of freshman composition we have a work thing where we work with all of their English 1020s, and she's recently implemented a thing she calls practicum, where they go to classes. It would be a regular Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, but one of those days becomes the practicum day, where they can either go to the writing center for an appointment, go to the research and instruction team for an appointment, or come to the studio and do something, but they can also go to workshops. And so whenever we manage to time the workshops for when those students are looking for something to do for that class, it really works well. And we're continuing to try and figure out what that looks like, but extra credit, man, working with faculty to get those students extra credit. And often if you get them to come to one, they will come to more. But they'll do anything for extra credit. They'll do anything for points other than their actual homework, it seems.
Yeah, and one thing I will say off the, like, we had some equity concerns about the offering of extra credit because students who work can't necessarily make things outside of class time. What we've had some success doing is actually building a workshop into a class and then asking that instructor if we can open it to the public. So for example, our Unity workshops we've done for this one class for 5 years. The last 2 years, that instructor has been very generous and said that we can make them publicly accessible to people. And that's turned out like we get the students who are in the class and then also students who can come outside of that. But Dana, it is really hit or miss sometimes.
And for the record, we'll often consider if we get more than 2 people, that's really popular. So just like adjust your expectations. If you thought you were going to get 20 people, it's okay to be pleased with 3.
All right. Well, I'm going to consider that the chat will probably continue to stay active as we go through these last couple of bits. We are at 3:30, so I do want to get us transitioning to the wrap-up time. I will keep the Zoom open afterwards for people to hang out and mingle, so fear not, I won't kick everyone out. But this is sort of the wrap-up section. I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who came and everyone who participated. I think everyone here is very cool. And so I didn't know if folks wanted to throw like a cool thing they learned during the conference into the chat. You know, shout outs to a presentation you really enjoyed or something that you learned while you were here. I've already been getting some questions about where can I find all these awesome presentation materials. I just sent out a Google form to all the presenters where you guys can add links or upload files. When we share the recordings out, I will make sure that those get to where they need to go. The other thing too is this is where the recordings will be posted. I will also send out an email to everybody, but the previous conferences can also be found there. And hopefully we'll have a big bundle of stuff to send out to folks the next couple of weeks. I did want to give a big reminder that there is a call for proposals actively out for the ACTAL in-person conference this November. The deadline is August 7th. So if you had a presentation here that you wanted to reconfigure for an in-person format and do again, or maybe you submitted something and it didn't get into this one, you could repropose it for this one. Maybe you made a new friend and you guys want to submit something together. I think all of these are excellent ideas and you can get those going. That's in here. And just one more time, we're going to play the little UTA promo. So here it goes. So this is where we're going to be at the University of Texas at Arlington.
At the heart of Dallas-Fort Worth is a university that embodies innovation. Welcome to the University of Texas at Arlington, an R1 research university with the 5th most diverse student body in America.
But what truly sets us apart is our Center for Creativity, the 18,000 square foot UTA makerspace. 3 spaces, endless possibilities.
The Fab Lab, the first MIT-affiliated academic libraries makerspace in Texas, where ideas take physical form.
The studios, where creativity meets technology. Virtual production, audio engineering, photography, and graphic design coming together.
The Basement, a gaming hub that's serious about fun. Game design, development, and open play, all under one roof.
This November, UTA welcomes the Association of Creative Technologies in Academic Libraries. Join us at ACTAL 2024 for innovation, collaboration, and inspiration.
All right. And then is Lauren actually in the room? No, well, there's Lauren Haverstock, but I don't think Lauren Stutler is here, which is A-okay. Every time we've done it, she hasn't quite, I think she's been off by 1 hour. So, but just know that we're really excited that it's going to be here at University of Texas Arlington. They've got an amazing space, as you saw there, and we would love to see you there in November. It'll also be after Election Day. So
At the heart,
that will at least be something off of all of our collective minds. I believe Alice Rogers, however, is here. So I'm going to put her on the spot real quick to just mention that next year's virtual conference is going to be hosted by Virginia Tech. They have an amazing space. Alice, is there anything that folks should know about how cool Virginia Tech is?
Virginia Tech's great. I think Jonathan is here too, maybe.
Oh,
Question
great.
mark. I don't know. I calling Jonathan out when I don't know, he didn't sign up for this. I mean, he did, but you know, yeah. So yeah, we're really excited to have everybody. I'm sure we'll be using LibCal and Zoom, and I'm going to be asking Keys for all the help that I can get. So yeah.
The 3-year reign of Virginia Commonwealth University finally comes to an end, and we are very gracious to Virginia Tech for taking on the torch. So thank you guys so much.
Well, while I have the mic, I should say thank you so much for all of the work you've done and all of the work that, you know, everybody on the virtual conference committee has done to putting this together. It's been great.
Aw, thanks, guys. All right. Interested in if you're still hanging out here, you're exactly the people that we wanted to talk to. So are you interested in being a part of ACTAL moving forward? You can join our Discord. There's a little chat here. I will also put the link here into the chat. I have 14 chats open. I think that's the right one. So we'd love to have you there. We also have a way for you to volunteer with us. So that's also here. Oops, it's not letting me. Well, it was letting me grab links and now it's not anymore. That's okay. I think I can very quickly. That's the joy of Bitly, is I can just write it as it goes. There it goes. So you can join us or volunteer. We would love to have support, especially for the in-person conference that's coming up. And I know Virginia Tech won't say no to any help for next year's. For those of you who don't know, the virtual conference committee had 3 months when they usually have typically had around 8 months to plan everything. So major kudos to all of them. Have you joined and not been getting emails? I will turn it over to Emily Thompson for this.
Hey, so I'm the membership committee, like all of it. And basically, if you fill out the membership form, I go and check it at some point. There's a lot. I have no concept of time is what it boils down to. But I'm seeing a lot of people that either like they're trying to join multiple times, either because I didn't get back to them or because they're not getting the emails. So check your spam filter for actal@gmail.com. We are using MailChimp, so I think that there is a good chance that MailChimp has sent you a confirm you want to be part of this mailing list link that you may need to agree to. Other people that you might be getting emails from that list from are Sarah Cantor at UTC and Vanessa Rodriguez at University of Miami. Those are our current and past communications people. But if you're still not getting emails after that, send me an email at emilythompson02@utc.edu and I will go and see if perhaps we misspelled your email. But if you just fill out the form again, I'm probably just going to do a search for your last name and see if you're already there, which may not get you what you want. So yeah, we'd like to be able to communicate with you as much as we can, but none of this is really automated other than the MailChimp. So we appreciate your patience and please let me know if you're still not getting stuff. Thanks.
And maybe if you're someone who's really good at doing things like big email blasts and you're interested in supporting us, feel free to also reach out and volunteer.
Or learning how to or if somebody knows how to automate it from a Google form straight to the MailChimp, that would be a great thing. I don't know how to do that. And also, if anybody is trying to, if you're signing up today, I will try and get to it by next week, but I'm coming off a sabbatical, so I have no idea what kind of fire hose I'm dealing with tomorrow.
All right, but we will be in contact, and you've got a direct email if you need help otherwise. We also have a feedback survey, which I'm hoping is the correct link. We'll find out. We would love to hear how you thought this year's conference went, with the understanding that we had 3 months to turn it all around. And we had a SpringShare nationwide outage on the first day of the conference. But I'm really appreciative to everybody's flexibility and understanding for all of that. But I hope you've had a good time regardless. But we would love to hear what you have to say and also ideas for how to do this for next year. We'll pass all of that along to Virginia Tech. So that's here. And then finally, just a big thank you to all the organizers, Alice, Amanda, Andy, Christine, Emily, Greg, Hannah, Heaven, Jennifer, Jess, Jessica, Lauren, Michael, and Sharona. Thank you guys so much. You guys were amazing at just replying to these big email threads and saying, hey, by the way, can we turn this around tomorrow? That'd be great. Thank you. Okay, thanks, bye. So just amazing work, especially during the summer when I know lots of folks were in and out. Another big shout out to TechSmith, our sponsor for the event, and also to my own VCU Libraries crew, Eric Johnson, who's my supervisor, and then Kaylee Riaz, who's one of our student staff, who between all of us were making sure that you guys got into the rooms okay. Very big shout out to everyone here.
Well, and a massive shout out specifically to Oscar Keys for really emceeing this whole thing and managing all the tech side of it, because it just would not happen without that expertise. So thank you, Keys, for your work.
And thank you, Virginia Tech, for taking it off my shoulders for next year. I really appreciate y'all. So really looking forward to seeing what you do. And with that is a wrap for the ACTAL Virtual Conference 2024. I will keep the Zoom room open for folks who might want to hang out and join or share contact information, ask questions. But seriously, guys, thank you so much. I think this was actually the first conference I actually got to attend the presentations because there weren't as many fires actively happening. So it was awesome. This is a really great conference. You guys are really smart. So thanks for being here. And hope to see you in person in November. So. Awesome. Thank you.